Genesis 12, chapter 12. Now Jehovah says unto Abram, Get thee out of thy country and from thy kindred and from thy father's house unto the land that I will show thee. I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and make thy name great, and be thou a blessing. I will bless them that bless thee, and him that curseth thee will I curse. And in thee shall all the families of the earth be blessed. So Abram went, as Jehovah had spoken unto him, and Lot went with him. And Abram was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran. And Abram took Shari his wife, and Lot his brother's son, and all their substance that they had gathered, and the soul that they have gotten in Haran, and they went forth to go into the land of Canaan. And into the land of Canaan they came, and Abram passed through the land unto the place of Shechem, unto the oak of Moreh, and the Canaanites was then in the land. And Jehovah appeared unto Abram, and said, Unto thy seed will I give this land. And there built he an altar unto Jehovah, who appeared unto him. And he removed from thence unto the mountain on the east of Bethlehem, and pitched his tent, having Bethlehem on the west, and Ai on the east. And there he built an altar unto Jehovah, and called upon the name of Jehovah. And Abram journeyed, going on still towards the south. And there was a famine in the land, and Abram went down into Egypt to sojourn there, for the famine was sore in the land. And it came to pass, and he was come near to enter into Egypt, that he said unto Sarai his wife, Behold, now that thou art a fair woman to look upon, and it will come to pass, when the Egyptians shall see thee, that they will say, This is his wife, and they will kill me. But they will save thee alive. Say, I pray thee, thou art my sister, that it may be well with me for thy sake, and that my soul may live because of thee. And it came to pass that when Abram was come into Egypt, the Egyptians beheld the woman, that she was very fair, and the princes of Pharaoh saw her and praised her to Pharaoh. And the woman was taken into Pharaoh's house, and he dealt well with Abram for her sake. And he had sheep and oxen, and he assen and men servants and maid servants, and she assen and camels. And Jehovah plagued Pharaoh and his house with great plagues because of Sarai, Abram's wife. And Pharaoh called Abram and said, What is this that thou hast done unto me? Why didst thou not tell me that she was thy wife? Why saidst thou, She is my sister, so that I took her to be my wife? Now therefore, behold thy wife, take her and go thy way. And Pharaoh gave men charge concerning him, and they brought him on the way, and his wife, and all that he had. Genesis 12 is the Bible's major pivot. God answers Babel. Humanity trying to make a name with a covenant promise, I will make your name great, and begins this rescue plan for the whole world through one family. And then immediately the chapter shows the kind of messy faith real humans have. Abram obeys, then fears, then God protects anyway. Here's what God is saying through Genesis 12 at highest theology depth. The call. Genesis 12 verse 1. God rescue begins with the separation and trust. Get thee out unto the land that I will show thee. Abram is told to leave 3 layers of security: country, national identity, kindred, clan protection, father's house, inheritance, and stability. And he given almost no detail, just the land I will show you. This is faith defined, trusting God's word without controlling the outcome. Babel tried to secure the future by building. Abram is told to secure the future by walking. What God is saying, the way back from human pride and fear is trusting obedience, leaving false security to live by promise. The sevenfold promises. Chapter 12, verse 2 through 3. God reverses Eden, Babel through blessings. This verses are among the most pragmatic in the entire Bible. They function like the mission statement for the rest of the scripture. I will make of thee a great nation. God will create a people not by human empire but by covenant promises. I will bless thee. Blessing is life, fruitfulness, protection, favor, Eden, language restored. Make thy name great. This is the direct reversal of Babel. Let us make a name. God, I will make your name great, meaning the right name is not seized, it's received. Be thou blessed. Be thou a blessing. Abraham isn't blessed as a private trophy. He blessed to become a channel. I will bless them that bless thee. Curse him that curseth thee. God commits himself to Abraham's protection because Abraham is carrying God's redemptive mission. That this is not favoritism, it's safeguarding the pipeline of salvation history. And in thee shall all the families of the earth be blessed. This is the global goal. God chooses one to bless many. Abraham is a strategic seed through whom the nations fractured at Babel will be healed. What God is saying, my plan is not to abandon the nations. I will heal the nations through covenant blessings. Abraham obedience, chapter 12, verse 4 through 9. Faith is movement plus worship in contest land. So Abraham went. Abraham obeys. He enters Canaan, a land already occupied, and the Canaanites was then in the land. This matters. God promised doesn't mean immediate control or comfort. Abraham lives as a pilgrim, tent, in a land promised but not yet possessed. Then Abraham does two repeated actions, builds altars, calls on the name of Jehovah. That theology in action. He marks territory not with towers, Babel, but with worship. He claim is not domination but devotion. What God is saying, my people advance in the world not by self-exalting momentum, but by faith, worship, and patience. Pilgrimage. Unto thy seed will I give this land. Chapter 12, verse 7. Promise expands beyond Abraham to a future line. The promise is now specific, land plus seed, offspring. This becomes the backbone of later covenant development. Yet note the tension. Abraham has no child. Sarah is barren. From chapter 11. The land is occupied. God promises designed to require faith. What God is saying, I fulfill my promise, not by your nature power, your natural power. Your future will be my work. The famine plus Egypt, chapter 12, verse 10. The first test, can Abram trust God under pressure? A famine hits the promised land. This is the first trial narrative of Abram's faith. Egypt in Genesis often functions as a place of refuge and resources, but also a place of temptation, danger, and compromise. Abram went down to Egypt geographically, true, but also narratively symbolic. He moves towards the world power center when the promise feels threatened. What God is saying, faith will be tested not only by commands, but by scarcity and fear. Abraham failures. Chapter 12, verse 11 through 16. Fear makes us sacrifice others to save ourselves. Abraham's plan is morally compromised. Say thou art my sister, thou my soul may live. Even if half-true arguments exist later, Sharon being a relative, the narrative treats Abraham's move as wrong because it endangers Sarah and risks the covenant line. This is an important theology. The Bible does not sanitize its heroes. Abraham is the chosen man, and he fails fast. What God is saying, my covenant is carried by imperfect people. The promise is not upheld by your flawless faith, but my faithfulness. God intervenes to protect Sarai and the promise. Jehovah plagued the Pharaoh. God acts to preserve Sarai, and that therefore preserves the covenant future. Pharaoh confronts Abraham with a moral rebuke. What is this that thou hast done unto me? Irony. The pagan king behaves more righteously in this moment than Abraham. Genesis is showing that people can be compromised, and yet God still guards his mission. Abraham is sent away, still alive, and even materially increased. Another unsettling sign of grace. Abraham doesn't earn rescue, he receives it. What God is saying, I will protect my promise even when my servant stumbles. My plan does not collapse because you are weak. The deep pattern between established. Genesis 12 set the pattern you'll see repeatedly. God calls the God calls and promises, the human obeys. A crisis tests faith, the human often fails. God intervenes to preserve the covenants. The story continues by grace. What God is saying, the covenant story is ultimately about my steadfast commitment to bless the world, not about human heroes performing perfectly. The main message of Genesis 12 in one sentence: God answers Babel's self-made name with a covenant promise, calling Abram to radical trust, promising blessings that will reach all nations, and then showing that even when Abram fears and fails, God remains faithful to protect the promise and keeps redemption moving forward. Genesis 12.